Ninth meeting, if you will please stand, we'll pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton.
Here.
Ms. Reagan.
Present.
Mr. Christie.
Present.
Mr. Buckle.
Present.
Mr. Wright.
Here.
Mr. Borchers.
Here. Approval of the July 11th meeting. Any additions or corrections?
I make a motion to approve the July minutes.
Second.
Have a motion before us, properly second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Christie.
Yes.
Mr. Buckle.
Yes. This is the time set aside for public comment. If you would please wish to speak, go to the podium, give your name and address and your concern.
Good morning. My name is Ramed Page. Address is 1713 South Franklin Street, Muncie, Indiana. My concern is that I purchased a property. My wife here is going to pass out some documents pertaining to that property to you guys. We have 2 copies. The address is at 6701 East Hickory Lane, Muncie, Indiana. There's a storm drain right out front. I talked to Linda today from the surveyor's office. She said it was a non-regulated drain. It's been causing some flooding in the front yard, like where it's holding about over 7 inches of water. The highway department has came out a couple times to try to fix it, but it's still continuing to flood, and it's been causing issues with water erosion, just overall property damage to the property. I tried to sell the property, couldn't sell it due to the water issues, so now I have to keep the property until this is fixed. But it's just been causing a huge headache for myself. So I was told, went to the commissioners meeting last night and was told to just come up here and, Monday, told to come up here, sorry.
I just got this complaint Monday, and yesterday I was busy, and I was gonna go out there after the meeting today at some point. Now, I know by just looking at the map, we do have a regulated drain, but it's about a block or 2 north of his area, behind his house. And his floodings, from what I know, from what I hear, is causing the front of his yard. So I don't know if we really have any structures near there that would help him. From what I understand, it's when they put in the sewer that the problem started. So that's what someone told me. I heard
Like
secondhand.
the storm drain there?
Storm drain, yeah.
Whenever that went.
So I haven't had a chance to look at it, guys. Like I said, I just got this Monday afternoon, and yesterday I was out all day looking at other jobs. So I haven't had a chance to look at it, just on the map.
I will give you a little history I shared with them Monday as the commissioners meeting, that when I became a commissioner in 2013, they were thinking of doing a reconstruction, and the commissioners, I think we were having to spend about $600,000, and we just didn't have the money, and I don't think we ever brought it to the drainage board back then, but we turned it down. And it was going to be taking the water south of 32 East. And
I assume that if he's got a storm drain in his front yard, that gets to our regulated drain at some point. Because they do come in to the neighborhood. So I don't know if we need to work with Heather to try to get Cooley, at least
they have done some camera work.
a camera work, or
They
at
have
least some sort
done
of jet routing to see if they can get it
Yeah.
broke through. I can get with Heather on this too and see if we can work together on that. But like I said, I'm kind of flying blind because I haven't been able to put
Shannon
things
Henry,
up.
County Commissioner. I did talk to
Would you
Tommy
state
Humbert.
your name and
Yeah, Shannon Henry, Delaware County Commissioner.
thank you, sir.
I did speak with Tommy Humbert, our highway superintendent, about this. Cooley has done some televising work. There are several areas where that's broke down. I talked to Commissioner Brand this morning about this as well. I think we need to, Tommy thinks that Cooley's has marked the spots that are broke down in that tile. And I just think the Stormwater Board, needs to address that, and I want to start addressing that and go to the, tile that's close to your ditch
Okay,
and just start there and start working our way back.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
sounds like a
that's kind of my thing. But you might take a look at it and see if
I
you
will.
can tell where it dumps into
Okay.
your ditch at.
I can do that.
Thank you.
Sir, you said that was 6701 East Hickory.
That's correct.
Thank you.
And how long ago did you purchase it?
March 6th.
And you purchased it through a tax sale or
No, I purchased this one outright,
this one outright from
just from the sellers that were selling it.
the family that
The
was selling
family.
it? Thank you.
Well, hopefully, sir, the surveyor and the folks will get together and address your issue.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak, please state your name, address, and
Shannon Henry, Delaware County Commissioner. A few weeks ago, I got contacted by the Johns family who live out in the DeSoto area off 350 North. Kind of briefly, and I'll let them talk, but they definitely have a water problem that was done by the pond that was dug by the adjoining property owner. So I'll let Mr. Johns kind of describe more in detail.
I'm Wayne Johns. My address is 8309 East County Road, 350 North, Albany. And we moved in, purchased our property about 2 years ago and have had no drainage issues until this spring when the neighbor who just moved in December decided to build a pond. And so she dug a pond and they made a large pile of all the excess dirt that came out, and she was having difficulty getting rid of that dirt. She did get rid of about half of it, and then they took the remaining dirt and made an embankment. It's near the edge of our property, between our property and the pond, which basically eliminated the natural runoff from our property. In the packet we gave you is a petition for removal of an obstruction. And that's what we're here to, petition you guys to take action to hopefully force her to remove that obstruction. Mr. Shannon and Mr. Borders have both been out there and seen the issue. It's starting to dry up now because of all the extreme heat, but at one point we could get one mower width between the wet area and an outbuilding that we have. And, this started toward the end of April is when they built the embankment. And that was basically after most of the wet season. So we're sure that come next winter and spring that the problem's going to become much worse and could possibly even get into our basement. And right now, the way it is, we have a large section of our yard which is basically unusable, lays wet all the time.
Have you spoken with her?
Yeah, we have information in there about our conversations with our, whenever the contractor was doing that, putting that embankment, I talked to him. He said that he intended to put tiles across there to drain it. And then a week or so later, when he was loading up his equipment to pull out, I talked to him and he said that he was planning on coming back to do that. He had another job and he's never came back. And basically we've tried to contact him and you can see the messages back and forth, and she has no intention of doing anything. She's actually built a fence on top of that embankment, so there's no intention, she has no intention of doing anything, I'm sure.
Mr. Surveyor,
Yeah, I had a,
would you explain a little bit on this petition? This is the first time I've ever seen a petition of this nature.
we had to dig to find one, sir. It's the first time, but it's probably well needed. I had a sheet and it got to emailed out. And it showed the overland flow of water. And it shows that it's supposed to leave their backyard and flow directly over the pond, over to the next property, and then there's a small ditch that it gets into. So by putting this berm up, which is probably a 4-foot berm maybe, I don't know,
Approximately 4 foot high.
it completely blocks off the overland flow of water. I'm not exactly sure on the next legal steps as far as, I assume that we have to send all the parties involved a registered letter to let them know we're gonna have a hearing on it probably at the next drainage board meeting. And then the drainage board can make a decision from there, but I definitely think that it's blocking the overland flow of water substantially. And even the skids that they put on top, you know, it's just not helping anything.
So our move is to set this petition up and send information for a hearing, is that correct?
I would agree, yes.
I make a motion to hold a public hearing on this issue at the next drainage board meeting.
Second,
Have a motion before us, and properly second, roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead,
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes.
Ms. Riggin,
yes.
Mr. Christie,
Yes.
Mr. Buckle.
Yes. Okay,
So I will get with Mr. Wright, get a letter put together, and we'll send it out registered mail
sure.
to the two involved, and then it'll give the time and date of the next meeting. And from there, after you hear from both parties, I think you have two choices. You can instruct the person that purposely put the blockage there to remove it, and give them a chance to remove it. And then if they don't, then you authorize the surveyor's office to step in and remove it, and then I believe charge the person that put the obstruction in. I believe is how the Indiana code reads.
So the contractor, he'll be there too.
Well, I think the first step would be
I mean, when we notify these people
to
that,
give them, the property owner that has the obstruction up, I think the first step is to give them, so many days to remove the obstruction, and I can't remember exactly what it is, if it's 30 days. And then if it doesn't get removed, then you authorize the surveyor's department to remove it, on the cost of it to the homeowner.
thank you.
This is another one of the, I know the county's working on a pond ordinance, which is, it's needed terribly. But this is another case of someone put a pond in and there was no oversight or anything. They just dug a hole basically. And I really believe that the homeowner, back to the west of the property, the other, basically the other side of the pond, that is a horse, lot. So that's a pasture for horses, and I think there's no, outfall. There's no drain in that pond at all, so if that pond gets high, it's gonna overflow into that horse pasture and start washing as well. So I'm sure eventually, at some point, those people will start complaining as well. So,
It did not look like there was any structure for outflow
There's-
or inflow in that pond.
no. So it's gonna wash that horse pasture out, and those people aren't gonna want their horses out there running around through that, so,
Thank you.
thank you.
And I will agree with you, the pond ordinance needs to be made. We've got places that we half moon them. Go around where ponds have been next to our fields, so,
Just to update everybody on that, I had a meeting with the pond committee, and I assume this month we'll have the first draft ready for the commissioners to approve. So it's
Yeah, that's
it's
what,
real close.
yeah, that's what Kylene said.
Yeah,
Probably one more
thanks.
meeting.
wonderful, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
My name is Susan Kemp, K-E-M-P. I live at 1501 North Stockport Drive in Muncie, Indiana. I'm here in reference to our bridge problem that we have. I was just talking to this gentleman right here, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Mr. Henry.
Mr. Henry. And he informs me now that the letter that we were supposed to sign, that you guys are ready to go with the ditch. Is that accurate?
We still have to mow it, but we gotta mow it before they put it in, and so we're just waiting until,
Yeah, and I noticed this is the first year it has been mowed.
I'm trying to time it up to when they put in the bridge.
Okay,
So,
great.
so that when they put in there, everything's mowed, and it's easier for them to access the ditch. So
Okay.
I'm trying to time it up with the install of the bridge, and I'm waiting to hear from the people that are putting in the bridge.
Okay,
The culvert, excuse me, not bridge, I keep on saying bridge, but it's culvert, yes.
Okay, I talked to Tommy, and he said that everything's all ready, I guess, to do the bridge. However, this signature thing, well, the people on the south side are probably not going to sign, because they're on the public right away. And the people on the north side, naturally, were concerned about signing because, number one, we thought it was actually from the county attorney, but we understand now that letter was from the city attorney. But we're afraid that if we sign this letter, that we're just gonna pass this problem on to people that are gonna buy our homes eventually. We're all in our 70s, so our homes are all gonna go up for sale pretty soon. Well, I don't wanna say pretty soon, but they will eventually go up for sale. And we just want to make sure that we don't tie people that are going to buy our homes into something that we signed. So now, on your advice, because this is the first time we've heard it now today about the city, this city thing that we need to go to the city council, is this correct? And talk to them about signing this paper, because we don't want to sign the paper. And then what do we get from them they'll contact you to say that we either did or did not sign the paper, or the letter, is that accurate?
So as far as I know, the county's ready to move forward with this bridge. The city is gonna pay for half, of course. Or I guess the sanitary district is gonna pay for half. As soon as the agreements with, in the city, as soon as the agreements are all done and the city's ready to move forward, the county's ready to move forward. So I guess that's where we're at. But the county's ready to move forward as far as I'm concerned. We're just waiting on the sanitary district to move forward. When's those meetings, do you know?
Good morning, Board. Stephen Brand, County Commissioner. So the letter that I believe Ms. Kemp is talking about is for the folks on the north side of the structure. I wouldn't call it a bridge. It's more of a culvert. It's not an engineered bridge by any means. It's not on our bridge inventory, never has been, and probably never will be. This development out there is more of a wildcat type development. I don't believe it was ever properly platted. So the folks basically have a driveway that goes from the structure to the north. And what they're being asked to sign off on is that they're responsible for their driveway and their structure going forward. So the county and the Muncie Sanitary District stepped in to help them because we have to send vehicles that are owned by the sanitary district, so the trash trucks go across this structure. There's a hole in this structure, probably 3 feet in diameter right now, and there's a big barrier on it that's blockading it so that they can't go across. So the sanitary district quit sending their large trucks across, started sending a rear loader across with 2 men. Takes extra time, extra manpower, and then there's a risk of injury. Secondarily, if we had to send fire support across or an ambulance or something like that, they're not willing to send their vehicles across this structure. So the county and the sanitary district said, look, in the spirit of human life safety, safety for our vehicles, we'll step in and help with this structure on a one-time basis. And the citizens that live on the north side of this structure are supposed to sign acknowledging that. That's where it's at. I don't know that it needs to go to city council. I don't know that it needs to go to a Muncie Sanitary District meeting. The citizens either need to sign or not sign. If they don't sign, it won't get fixed. If they do sign, it will get fixed. at the generosity of the county and the Muncie Sanitary District. That's about as straight as I can say it.
Thank
The attorney actually said that the letter meant that we would have to maintain the bridge. How are we gonna maintain the bridge? I mean, really, how are we gonna maintain the bridge? We're all on fixed
You need
incomes.
Would you please, ma'am, would you talk into the microphone, please?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Okay, what I was saying was that, the bottom line is that we are all older, we are all most of us all are living on fixed incomes. If something happens to the bridge, I don't know how any of us would be able to put up with the money that would take to fix it. Now, I talked to Tommy, he said, oh, nothing ever happens to that bridge, or those bridges, and I trust Tommy, so I know that he's probably telling the truth. But it's our luck, something will happen to the bridge and we'll be stuck. And like he said, fire trucks won't go over it, ambulance won't go over it. We're lucky that we've got a small enough trash truck to go over it. So, it's the maintenance thing that has gotten us, because none of us think that we can afford to do that maintenance if something major would happen to the bridge. Because I know we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's where we are. So that's why I'm saying, should we go to the city council? Should we go to the city council and say, look, we don't want to sign this, and this is the reason why, and see what they say, and then come back to you guys?
One important piece of information that's been left out of this conversation is the citizens came and asked the city to pave their driveway. And I want to reinforce that it's a driveway, it's not a road, it's a driveway. So they asked for them to pave the driveway, and the city attorney and the city engineer went out there and they paid for a survey. And as Ms. Kemp has said, the people on the south side, they're not so interested in this because they've got a decent paved road and they don't have to cross this structure. So they refuse to give access or easement type right of way for them to go in there and make it a road and to properly pave it. Once that happened, the city engineer backed away. And that's when the county and the sanitary district got together and said, look, we're risking our vehicles here and we're risking the lives of the citizens that live on the north side of this structure if we can't get emergency services to them. It could even come to a point if this bridge if this structure continues to deteriorate where they might not even be able to drive their vehicles across it. But it's a structure. It's not, and it looks like a bridge. I know people call it a bridge, but it's a structure. And when they did this addition, this ditch that runs through there got rerouted. The ditch used to run, for lack of a better term, kind of diagonally through the land, and they rerouted it so that they could develop this area. And they put it's an open ditch through there. Tommy knows what I'm talking about. But if they don't sign off on it and say, look, we understand that we're responsible for our driveway and for our structure, it won't get done. And eventually, nothing will be able to go across that structure, even their own vehicles. And I don't know that it's the business of this board, to be honest with you. I appreciate them being here, but I don't know that this board can do anything about it, other than the surveyor has agreed that once they sign off on it, he'll clear the ditch. The highway department and the Muncie Sanitary District will go in and remove the structure. They'll dip it out. They're gonna put an overlength culvert in there and put the proper amount of fill back on top. Last, 50, 75 years, provided there's not some, biblical flood.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Surveyor, is this a regulated drain where it passes under?
It's a regulated drain. It's a private structure going into a regulated drain. Last summer, we approved the structure being put in. So I think I met them out there probably about this time last year. Then I brought it to the board. They approved the structure going into the regulated drain. But besides that and us taking care of the actual open ditch, I think that's as far as the jurisdiction of the drainage board really has. We've approved the structure. It's a private structure going into a drain, so it'd be just like any other crossover that a farmer or an individual puts in. I don't think there's much more that the drainage board can approve or act on.
Commissioner Brand, has anyone made any kind of a
guesstimation as to what the cost would be to put a fix on, to do the job?
Yeah, to rip out the structure, dip it out, put in an over-length culvert so that there's plenty of exposure on both sides and the proper amount of fill is about $15,000. And that's gonna be split equally between the county and the Muncie Sanitary District. Both of them are willing to kick this in on a one-time basis to protect the people on the north side and to protect the assets that the Muncie Sanitary District and the county has to send across that bridge on a regular basis or on an as-needed basis.
And that would be a fix that would probably take care of it for many years.
I just, I estimate, I don't know what's a culvert last, Tommy, 50 years? These are galvanized pipes. Again, barring some biblical flood, it's gonna be there for a long time.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I only have one other thing to say is that I don't know of anybody that asked anyone to pave anything. It's already paved.
Just partway.
Yeah, to the bridge, or to the event, or whatever you're calling it. Yeah, so we will be going to the city council meeting, and we will be talking to them, and we will be getting back to you guys and letting you know what the resolve is, because we don't agree with what he just said at all.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Pam Parkinson, 1315 North Stockport Drive. What I don't understand is obviously none of us dug that ditch, okay? None of us went out there and dug the ditch. None of us put this bridge over it. So why are we responsible up until ADM come out and wanted us to give them parts of our front yards? They had maintained this ditch, they dragged it, they sprayed there for mosquitoes and stuff, garbage truck back and forth. But once we told ADM, no, I'm not giving them part of my yard. My mom raised me on Morrison Road, okay? So I've already been down this road. And to say that that's a driveway, well, why did you name our driveway? Why do we all have addresses? If this is like an apartment building area, why aren't the mailboxes at the end of the road? Why isn't the trash at the end of the road? We didn't do this. And you are hurting their safety on the other side. We're not heartless, but I can't, you just said $15,000? I can't do that. I'm not even sure I'm gonna be able to retire, okay? I don't understand. I just don't understand at all. We had nothing to do with none of this. And now you want us to pay for it. And the very first thing in this letter is they can take it out anytime they want. And then we're left with a hole. Now that just don't make sense.
I don't know exactly, ma'am, how to answer your question, but hopefully you all will get together and get this figured out.
See, that's just it. All we're getting is the runaround. We've been to county commissioners, and now we're here, and now they're telling us we need to go to city. This has been going on for over a year. And there was several days, there were so many people lined up down that road, and they spent the day.
Understand?
Why is it not worked out,
Anyone else wishing to speak? Mr. Surveyor, new business.
We have, the next step in the Connell reconstruction.
I spoke with Lockmuller Group as well as Banning Engineering. They provided pricing structures for engineering services. I sent those out to the board. Does anyone have any comments on either of those engineering service providers for this reconstruction?
I do. The information from Banning, it's about them, but it's also specific to our project. The information from Lockmuir is basically about them, doesn't go. So is that by their choice, or they don't know what our project is?
Yes, to both. The answer is I have worked with Banning Engineering on, this Abe McConnell reconstruction since we started discussing it. So Banning Engineering was familiar with the specifics of the reconstruction. And when they provided their pricing structure, I asked them to tailor that estimate specifically to the Abe McConnell reconstruction. When I talked to Lockmuir, they stated that as an engineering service provider, they typically set up agreements with drainage boards on an as-needed basis, and they would bill out the hours. So they were not specifically familiar with the Abe McConnell reconstruction, but they would be interested in participating if we so desired, and they would bill out their services at the hourly rates described.
Did you meet with Lockmuir?
Virtually, I did. I had a Microsoft Teams meeting with two representatives from Lockmuir. After dealing with both of these companies, I feel that they are both well qualified to provide us engineering services as we require them for reconstructions or any other projects. With the history of working on the Abe McConnell project with Banning, my recommendation would be to use Banning for the Abe McConnell reconstruction and then consider Lockmuir for future reconstructions. And it's not limited to these two companies. I also reached out to a third company, but I did not receive a reply from them yet. There are other qualified engineering service providers in the area that would be glad to help us.
Is that a motion, sir?
If there's no further discussion, I'll.
Well, it seems like the Banning, that they're more familiar with us and we're more familiar with them. But then for me, I went through Lockmuir's kind of their hourly rates for the various services. And it was hard to compare apples to apples exactly, but they almost seemed like they were a little bit cheaper.
While that may be true, all of these professional engineering service companies are licensed by the state of Indiana. And they are, as licensed providers, they are expected to provide equivalent service on a professional basis for engineering. Obviously, it will not be exactly the same. The hourly rates may be different. The time charged for a specific task may vary slightly. But I believe that both of these estimates are competitive, and both of these are technically capable of providing the services that we need.
Did Banning, I scanned over them and I've been busy, I'm sorry, but did Banning give us kind of a running total of what they thought the project would total, didn't they?
It's, yeah,
For their services.
Yeah, for their
yeah,
services.
Banning services for the design phase of the reconstruction were estimated at $23,900. And there may be some additional locating fees in addition to that. And that does not include a drain repair report for No Name Creek, Bell Creek, and Buck Creek, which, as we previously discussed, is desired for this project.
Okay.
So and then Lockmuir states not to exceed 100,000. But it's hard for me because they don't go into any of the specifics like Banning.
You're right. Neither of these were meant to be a firm quote for the cost of the reconstruction. They were both estimates, and in the case of Lockmuir, they did not know the specifics of the reconstruction, so they did not estimate the hours required to complete the engineering support.
From what I read on it, I think since for this one, Banning is more up to date, and so we could get moving quicker. My opinion is, I think we probably ought to use Banning on this one, and then use, like you said, possibly on the next one, try them and compare the two different firms and see what we like. But to get process moving on, I think we might want to use banning on this one since they're more up to date.
The guy that has to watch the budget and count the pennies, it's nice to have a solid, firm number that I can budget in right now versus not to exceed 100,000. Because what if it gets, for this first one, I agree.
The reason that the Lockmuller estimate stated $100,000 is that is how that they've set up agreements with other drainage boards in the past. They say, if you're willing to spend $100,000 with us, we will lock in these rates, and then you use them out of that $100,000 pot until it's exhausted, and then they will requote their rates. That number could be set at any level that we want. If we would like to do $20,000 worth of business with them on the next reconstruction project, they could adjust their estimate accordingly. Any other discussion?
Motion that we hire Banning Engineering.
I'll second it.
Have a motion before us, properly second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead,
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Christie,
Yes.
Mr. Buckle.
Yes.
Mr. Surveyor, new business.
Already talked to Mr. Wayne Johns, opening mowing bids for the Hyatt and the Shram. I called 4 contractors. If you guys remember, this is a month ago when all the contractors have been sitting around watching it rain for a month. Called 4 contractors, 2 picked up specs and 1 turned them in. So we've got 1 bid for each ditch. Or quotes, I guess. So if the board is ready to move forward, we can open those and move forward.
I think we're ready.
For the Hyatt, number 3941, Butler Masonry quoted the job at $20,235. For the Shram, Butler Masonry quoted the job for $17,300. They've got a completed date of August 28th on there, but I assume they'll get done before that.
Any questions from the board about these bids?
Tom, would you repeat the 3941?
The Hyatt was for $20,235. And the Shram was for $17,300.
I motion to accept Butler Masonry's quotes for both the Hyatt and the Shram repair work.
I'll second it.
Have a motion before us, properly second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead,
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Christie,
Yes.
Mr. Buckle.
Yes.
Mr. Surveyor, new business.
Paul A. Bright, requested a tie into the trib 1 of the Bowers ditch. He's gonna field tile, a 36-acre field for Mr. Schroyer. I went out, looked at it. The field to the west, I haven't had any reports of the tile breaking down or any fixes in it since I've been in office. So it must be flowing pretty good. The field to the west tiled the field last year and they haven't had any ill effects of that, so I don't see a problem with letting Mr. Wright tie into this trim number 1 of the Bowers and, tile that field for Mr. Shore.
Any questions from the board on this petition request?
I motion to approve Abe Wright's request to tie into the Bowers.
Second.
Have a motion before, properly second, roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead,
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes.
Ms. Christie. I'm sorry, Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Christie,
Yes.
Mr. Buckle.
Yes.
Old business, Mr. Surveyor.
We skipped number C.
Hmm?
We've got them. Okay. Tommy, I do appreciate all your instructions here on having this done. Thanks.
We've had a contractor work out on the racer ditch debrushing it for the last 90 days. I've stopped out there multiple times to try to catch him out there. I've not been able to catch him out there. Okay. There is, it's not done. It's not completed yet. There's a lot of trees that are still needing to be cut. A lot of areas that are incomplete, too tall. And also the specs said that you're supposed to call the office every time you work for the county, and you've only called once in the last 90 days. It's always nice when the contractor calls in so we can have people calling. You have a contractor working out in this area? Yes. So communication is a key, and it's hard to communicate with you when I can't get a hold of you. The board gave him 90 days to complete the job. It has not been completed to my satisfaction, or probably to the board's. I've also had a couple complaints. A farmer out there is very concerned, because one of the main issues why we cleared this is all the water from Dunkirk comes through this ditch. Dunkirk completely cleared their ditches out, so it's a free-for-all coming through there. And it's a very, very, I guess I'd call it woolly ditch, and there's a lot of trees down in that ditch that we need, and obstructions we need to get out, and we can't get to them because the trees are there. So Dunkirk's calling me, and the farmer's scared that it's not gonna get done, and I told the farmer it'll get done. And then I had another complaint from a lady that says that the contractor does not get out there till after 5 and works till 10 o'clock, which some days are all right. And she wasn't trying to complain, but she gets up early. I think she's a nurse, she said. And she says it's hard for her to sleep because, with chainsaws and tree grinding and everything like that. So that's just where we're at on the racer, and I didn't know if the board had any ideas on it or.
Mr. Arnold, would you like to approach the microphone and address these complaints?
State your name and address also, please.
I'm Brady Arnold. I own Arnold's Landscaping and Excavating in town, the contractor. One reason it's not completed is in May, we pretty much got rained out entire May. It was a washout. The water was up in bank that we couldn't get through. And after that, and I've been out in June, I got a machine. Every time I go out there, my machine breaks down, and I've been waiting on parts and all that. Parts take a little bit to come in and get installed and all that. So that's where I'm at, but I'm on the south side of town. I was gonna go back on north side, do touch up and all that. My main goal was to get the path on north side, so I was able to walk through and all that. It'd be easier to work through. So I did a path all the way from, there's a path for the woods that I can able to do more, to do touch-ups and all that. So you guys can be happy with that, all that.
Have you been keeping track of your hours that you've spent on this project?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't know my hours because I really don't look at time. Usually I do out there, work till stay up late enough I can't see and all that.
Well, your machinery would have the hours, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't pay attention to that. And
We got a problem here.
would you estimate that you're half done, 2/3 done, 1/3 done?
Probably close to 3/4 done, because most of the machine work is almost done. It's just on the south side of town. It would've been, that side would've been done on Monday, but I had a machine breakdown that night. And John Deere can't get it parked till tomorrow afternoon or 4:30.
Mr. Surveyor, what are you gonna do with this?
I'll leave that up to the board. You know, like I said, when we opened the quotes up, I've never worked with him, and you know, it'd be nice to start on a smaller job. This is a very complicated job. I don't believe he's 3/4 of the way done. I do think he's got a lot done in the last week. There's still a lot of trees that are 12 inches, stumps that are 12 inches to 3 foot tall. There's a lot of trees that are leaning. There's a lot of dead trees that haven't been cut down. There's a lot of chainsaw work that needs to be going, just not machinery, it's handwork that needs to be done. And that's the hard part about it. Everybody can run in there with a skid steer and mow off everything they can, but the hard part's getting down there with the handwork and pulling that stuff out. So I'll leave it up to the board's discretion on what they want to do.
I have a question for our attorney. Do we have, legal justification to cancel this contract without payment?
I believe so. I think there's lack of substantial performance on this.
Has the 90 days passed?
It was awarded at the April 9th board meeting. July 8th would have been 90 days. I believe our options are to issue an extension and ask Mr. Arnold to complete the work. Another option would be to issue partial payment, and the third option would be to cancel the contract with no payment.
How many more days do you think it'll take to complete the project as specs?
I'll just have to walk through again, get a rough idea of how long. Like Tom said, it'd be nice to start with smaller jobs, because like this one, I got into it too big and all that.
Do you want to continue?
I would like to complete it, but like I said, I'll just have to walk through again, start from a road all the way to a fence line, and see how many days it'll take.
We meet on the second Wednesday of the month. By our next meeting, could you be 100% completely done?
I can manage that. I just won't be here in town, so I probably do it the rest of this weekend for next week. And I won't be in town the last week of July, so it's probably manageable from this week to next week, and probably next board meeting be complete.
I guess I will restate the question. If we issue you a 30-day extension to complete this work, will you be done in 30 days?
Yes.
Are you able to communicate daily with the surveyor's office?
Yes, so my problem with that is I forget a lot of things each day, so I'll just set a reminder. What time you guys open the office?
We open at 8:30.
8:30?
Even if you're not gonna be out there till later, just call in every morning that you're gonna be there and say, hey, I'm gonna be out there at
Okay.
X time.
Yeah.
And that way I can come out there and meet you and show you some of the things that
Okay.
that aren't good.
Yeah.
There was a complaint from one of the neighbors that you were working. There was a complaint from one of the neighbors that you were working after dark. Will you be able to complete all of the work during normal daylight hours?
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's off the where a bridge is, which I don't know what road that is, that side's completely right there. I was working that night. I didn't really mean to, but I was trying to get that side done. Yes, in normal hours.
Any other discussion?
Yes, we're this deep in. Give him till our next board meeting. If it's not, it's no pay.
I motion to issue a one-time extension for 30 days for Mr. Arnold to complete the work as required.
Second.
A motion before us, properly second, roll call.
Mr. Whitehead,
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes,
Mr. Christie,
Yes.
Mr. Buckle.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Arnold, get a hold of me next week sometime when you're gonna be out there.
Yeah.
I'll meet you out there and I'll walk that ditch with you and show you exactly what
Okay,
needs to
yeah.
be done, so you kinda have an idea
Yeah.
of it.
Are you available tomorrow?
I am available tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
Just give me a call and I can meet you out there anytime.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Mr. Slater, any other new business?
I do not have any, Ms. Reagan, I went out and looked at, you brought it up last meeting. Is it Everett or
out there north of Sugar Bush.
Yeah,
Out
and
there.
it's bad, but I think it's one that we probably need to debrush. It's one that was on a reconstruction, so it's not on any of our maps. We need to put it on our maps. It was reconstructed, I don't know, 15 years ago or something, 20
Yeah.
years ago. But I think it's one that we need to debrush, but I think it's one that we need to do when the leaves are off the trees. It'll be less waste, especially along with all those apartment buildings and all that stuff. It'll look a lot better if we do it when the leaves are off, it's defoliated. We won't make such a mess out there. And then when we get it done, we'll put it on the spray program and it'll look nice from then
And
on.
I was wondering if anybody even could walk through there and see if there are some trees coming up that would be worth saving.
I don't know about, most of it's all, oh,
Scrub,
yeah, I can't remember the name of them right now. Suckles.
yeah,
Honeysuckle, boom.
honey, oh, no.
And that's why they grow so fast, because
Yeah.
it's been a few years since we've done it, and
I think you cut it about, what, 6 years ago?
it was a kind of a throw up, whether it was ours or Ball State's, and,
Yeah.
they're not doing it, so we better do it, because it drains a lot of, water, so.
Yeah, it's Ball State.
I will get the specs wrote up, and we can let that out maybe August or September to do when it's defoliated,
Appreciate it.
and that's all I have, sir.
Any old business?
No, sir.
Mr. Howell, did you have any further information?
I'm David Howell, 12261 South County Road 600 West, Middletown. I'm here to present a petition to initiate a study of the watershed for the south end of the Brown Ditch so we can improve the open ditch that's there and not functioning.
How many signatures do you have on your petition?
Request.
I believe Mr. Howell has presented a petition with 2 signatures for a new construction or reconstruction in the area of the Brown Ditch at Centennial, 32 and 700 East. We've discussed this in the past. Any discussion?
Those are the two, those are the two primary landowners generate most of the water. One that takes this water from the other side of the watershed and it has to go through the same bridge, and then this is the big part of the generation on the east side.
The Indiana State Code states that we need 10% of landowner support by area to enter this project. Considering we have not defined the watershed, but we do have 2 significant tracts of land, landowners representing 2 significant tracts of land, I believe we do have that 10% support. I motion to move forward with the hearing process, public hearing process at the next meeting to address reconstruction of this ditch.
I'll second that.
Have a motion before us, properly second, roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead.
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes?
Ms. Reagan,
Yes,
Mr. Christie,
Yes.
Mr. Buckle.
Yes.
This is the time for the board to have any comments?
Well, the only thing I'd like to promote is the fair, you know. I was out there this morning and boy, the place is jumping, people bringing in their projects and gotta support the kids.
The Indiana State Farm Bureau Drainage School is August 26th. Registration opens July 22nd. Delaware County Farm Bureau is willing to pay the registration fee for anyone in the surveyor's office or the drainage board if you're interested in attending.
Any other comments? If not, approval of maintenance claims.
So moved.
Second?
That motion before us, properly second, roll call, please.
Mr. Whitehead,
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Christie,
Yes.
Mr. Buckle.
Yes.
Seeing no other further business, a motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.